Hey, what's up, shop makers? It's Rob here. I got my man Dontell, Jefferson. Dontell, tell the people about yourself, brother.
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you having me here. Dontell, man. I'm born in Cordele, Georgia, South Georgia. Grew up in Atlanta, went to Stevenson High School, played basketball 4 years over there, ended up going to junior college right there in Atlanta Metro. Then transferred to Arkansas. From that, I ended up spending some time in the D League. And then I kind of got my little break getting the call up to the Bobcats. And man, after I left the league, I went overseas and just finished up, played my last few years in Saudi and Qatar, man. And now, I'm working with a company that's put on cybersecurity boot camps. I've been in the education system for a minute as well. I was a dean of students at a high school. So I have my own basketball camp that I've done as well. So just trying to get the game back as much as I can and help, those that's trying to come along this path that's similar to what I've been through. Just kind of give them a game that I didn't get a chance to get when I was young.
I see you went the JUCO route, Atlanta Metro. So talk about that, man, because a lot of kids sometimes get discouraged when they
Yep.
end up not going big D1 and all that kind of stuff and go and end up going the JUCO route. Tell them what that was like.
It was a eye-opening experience, man, and I say that because I had one Division One offer coming out of high school, man, and that was to Morris Brown, and I turned it down, man. I didn't want to go to Morris Brown. Someone told me like if I can get Morris Brown, I probably can get some other ones. And then prior to that, I had my stepfather. He had a friend that went to junior college who played football. So that's how I got the information about JUCO and what it's supposed to do. And man, just going to Atlanta Metro, being recruited by Coach Pritchard, just understanding the history of the program at the time, how many people he had graduated from school, and then let alone being able to go play basketball somewhere else. Like it kind of was what I needed at the time, man. And that experience, it was humbling, man, because you talking about bus rides, 10, 12 hours to Florida, having to eat Piccadilly on game day. It was so structured. Like we
Mhm.
couldn't have earrings in the building. We had to play in white socks, like all these type of things. But when you talk about the playing experience, that's a whole different level, man, because everybody in JUCO is trying to get to that next level. And so you have to bring it every night. And man, our practices were just harder than our games, man. You had people almost getting to fighting because coach didn't call fouls, man, and we were running into the bleachers for that. So it was definitely a humbling experience, man, a great experience for me. And it kind of just prepared me for the next level. Not only just once I got to Arkansas, but man, just you talking about life, man. Coach Pritchard is one of those men that you just, if you don't have a father figure, you're glad that you actually went to his program.
Man, I hear so many great things about Coach Pritchard, man. So you talked about going to Arkansas. What was that like? That's another legendary coach, man, in Arkansas.
By the time I got there, Coach Richardson had left, so I came in under Stan Heath. But the transition was slow for me. Like a lot of people don't know, man. I had to do like 16 hours of summer school to even get there, man. Just certain things that you don't really know. So for people that are watching, I didn't have the SAT score to meet the clearinghouse at the time. So I had took it like 3 times. I just couldn't pass, couldn't get the score, and I only need the minimum. But at that time, you needed to graduate from JUCO to be eligible to play. And the credits I was taking were all business related and things of that nature. So I had to like quickly figure out like what could I graduate with that allowed me to actually move forward and be able to go play. So I spent 8 week sessions, 9 week sessions, 18 weeks that I missed out on just lifting weights. So
Yeah.
I kind of came in behind the curve, man. And I always tell people that, had I had the guidance or the mental capacity to know that I needed to graduate before I got there,
Mhm.
those 2 months of lifting weights, being with the guys would have played a huge difference in my transition. So my transition there was kind of slow and just till I got strong and got used to the pace. Like I had some good games in here and there, but
Yeah.
just inconsistently just because I missed out on those 2 months during the summer. But by the time my senior year rolled around, man, I cracked that starting lineup, was
Mhm.
doing well. And then at one point in a minute, like I was leading the SEC in assists above
Yeah.
Rondo. Everything was going smoothly, man. And then all of a sudden, we lost to Alabama and I got benched. And that was the end of, you can say, my ride as a senior. So I think I
Mhm.
left Arkansas averaging maybe 3 points, 5 assists still. So I might have been like second or third by that time. But man, it's one of those experiences that like you can't take away, like the relationships I was able to gain from that. And man, it allowed me to play with some great people and meet some of my closest friends. And man, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man.
Your stint with the Bobcats, man. What did you gain and what did you learn from that?
Man, so Once I got there, like it was just a whole bit more appreciation for the journey I took. So you talking about getting drafted in the fifth round in the D League, my first year, winning a championship that year, going back
Wait,
to the
hey, that's it. I'm gonna stop you real quick because I think some of these folks forgot about the D League.
yeah, yes, right, my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you said the D League. I think some of these people need to refresh on that.
right, right. So the D League it was the G League over 10 years ago. And so you didn't have a lot of teams were kind of locally owned. And so they weren't owned by any NBA team. So what you see now is the byproduct of the D League, man. And
Yeah,
back then it was two coaches, maybe three, and I was in North Dakota. So you talking about -20, -30 weather, nothing to do but play, hoop,
yeah,
practice, be with your teammates. So like, having that experience, being going back to North Dakota second year, going overseas towards the end of the year, man, like once I finally made it, man, it was just appreciation for all of that. And
mhm,
it's just a humbling experience to all the work had kind of finally paid off once I did get to Charlotte. But I
yeah,
think my biggest takeaway from getting to Charlotte, man, was seeing Jawan Howard and Nazi Muhammad at the tail end of their career
mhm,
and how they were working like they were still rookies. To
yeah,
me, that was like the most impressive thing that I had ever seen. You talking about, by that time they had been in the league almost 9, 10 years, but was still getting in drills with me and DJ Augustine was there, Cartier Martin. So we're all in that little rookie class, but they still working out, showing you the way how to work, man. So when you see
mhm,
things like that, you have to respect that and then try to add that work ethic to your process. So to
yeah.
me, obviously making it, but being able to see those guys do that at their age, like that was a big testament on who those guys were.
So your career took you from JUCO to college to the D League, and then extending the pros, and then you talked about finishing off overseas. I know now more so than when we were growing up, people are more aware of the effect of broadening your horizons, getting out of the country. What was that like for you, man? The first time you did get out of the country?
So back then, I used to always be on Eurobasket, like looking at the teams, like, man, I would love to go to this country. I would love to go to this country. And then I remember asking a teammate of mine at the time, Carlos Powell, he had been to Ukraine. And I was like, man, have you ever been in lobby? He was like, yeah, bro. He was like, man, you should go. And the man, once I got there, it reminded me of New York City, man. Like
Yeah.
Latvia had, I was in the capital, Riga, and it just had a bunch of tall buildings. You had people just walking the street. And for the most part, like everybody was just friendly, man. It was just a whole different experience from the food, the culture, obviously your teammates, the relationships I built over there. Even my first year over there, I won a championship.
Wow.
So man, it's just unbelievable that the game of basketball can put you in these positions to be able to see different cultures and have those experiences and hopefully bring people with you to
Yeah.
where they can get that opportunity to see different things as well that they typically would not see.
Yeah, so you talked about your basketball account and being a dean. I could kind of sense that education and putting back into people is big with you, man. So what ways are you doing that right now?
Yeah, man. So I was a motivational speaker. I've been doing it now for about 5 years. And then I took that position as a dean. So it allowed me to kind of just be directly with the students and connect on a day to day basis. And
Mhm.
then just figure out the ins and outs of what our young people go through on a daily. And then, obviously take that experience and how my experiences can help them within life, you know what I mean? Not just basketball.
Yeah.
But I think my upbringing, just from my grandmother, like that allowed me to excel in that dean role because you're in that role, you almost have to take on everything that happens negative, so to speak. So you got to deal with the parents, when the kids
Mhm.
acting up, you got to call the parents and things of that nature. And so you have to be super understanding, but you also have to be firm and mean what you say while also still trying to build a relationship with the child. So I have to credit my grandmother, my mother for that, man, because I think without that type of upbringing and discipline, I don't think I would have been able to do it as well as I did. So, being a dean, man, and then also doing the motivational speaker thing, going to different schools and giving back that way. That's kind of how I like to use my gift. And then my basketball campus, once a year in the summertime. I've done it twice out here in Arkansas. So want to bring that back to Atlanta, man. So that's kind of how I navigate that path, man.
So I told you, man, you come to the Shot Makers League, the ritual is you got to create a challenge for the people to do. And
All right.
so we gave you a little time to think about it. Let's see what you got.
I feel like we all can do this, and that's, just make someone smile every day. I don't even know how you can go about doing it. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do that. Or even if it's a few kind words or giving somebody a hug or doing a coffee chat, you know what I mean? Like anything, but if you making one person smile a day, regardless of how it's done, you never know who life you may change. And our words are powerful. You know what I mean? That's my challenge.
Man, let's do it. Let's do it, man. Y'all go out there and make somebody smile and record it, man. Give somebody some food, give them a shirt. You see somebody need help across the street, whatever you can do, man, to bring a smile to somebody's face.